Hey, how's everybody doing out there? How you doing? How you doing? And yes, indeed, yes, indeed, yes, indeed. It is a wonderful day out here. Of course, you probably noticed me. My name is Terrence Trotman. I am AKA known as Test Wolf. That is my gamer tag. Um, and I'm coming to you, talking to you about dating. Today's dating world is totally different and confusing, especially for those over a certain age limit, over a certain age. And what I mean by over a certain age, I'm talking about people that's in their 50s and some 40s too. So, how is dating different now than when it was when you and when we were younger? Well, I can tell you from my experience, and I always say my experience because I have been through so much. Um, I am a a widower. I have been married. I have been divorced, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a long, tedious process for some people. And why is it a tedious process? Well, I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Because from my years on this earth, and I'm 53 years old, I have learned that there are certain things that you got to go through. A lot of pain and heartache, and it's never easy. Um, One of the things I've learned is that you never suppress who you really are, and you never try to hide it. I can say this right now with a clear conscience that I'm a nerd, I'm a geek, and back in those days when I was growing up, those were negative traits. Yes, there were. There were negative traits because they always regarded geeks and nerds, dorks, funny looking, weird, antisocial, um, loners. We was not the popular. We were the least popular. And I think when the nerd revolution really started was back in the 1980s. And I'm going to say that because of the movie Revenge of the Nerds. Um, Even you could say Animal House, but Revenge of the Nerds was the one that really started to change the nerd revolution, started the nerd revolution. Um, the other thing too was when you had people like Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Bill Gates in the computer field. Um, it started a change. It started a whole new movement. In the late 80s to the 90s, you had Steve Urkel on that beloved TV show Family Matters. And you know how Steve always tried to get the popular girl, which was Laura. And that's how that's how it was. Like even for the nerds, um, like in Revenge of the Nerds, you had Lewis was trying to get with Betty, who Betty was a cheerleader, and Lewis was the nerd. But ultimately, he ended up with the girl. And Stan, who was Betty's ex-boyfriend, could never get over the fact that a nerd took him out. A nerd took his girlfriend. And that's the thing about with dating. Um, Dating today is a different aspect because we got so many dating apps, and unfortunately, um, some of these dating apps are not geared toward certain individuals. If you're a nerd, a geek, or a gamer, or who loves anime and stuff like that, there are apps for those type of people. But the funny thing about them is that they're only geared towards the young. I have been on several apps and I've noticed that, especially these so-called quote-unquote gamer apps, or geek apps, or nerd apps, and a lot of these people who are on these apps are in their late teens to their 30s. And I wrote emails to these different developing companies, these developers, and asked them how come they don't have an app for people that's in their 40s and 50s that are nerds. Um, One of them responded saying it's not our demographic. We don't care about those type of people. Even eHarmony and Match and Zeus and BLK and Tag and POF. These apps make it so difficult it's mostly geared towards the young people, not for the older set. It's especially when it comes to the older black nerds, black geeks, black gamers and stuff like that. And there is a problem with that. Um, Recently, I had went to a convention in Arlington, Virginia called BlurCon, and I'm gonna tell you right now, that was my first time going there. I've been hearing so much about it, and I actually went there this year for the first time. And I tell you, it was a wonderful experience. But I went in, and if some of you are friends of friends of mine on Facebook, you see, I went in as Boba Fett. I was dressed up in character, and that's something I love to do. So, as I was walking around and observing what was going on, the sights and sounds of BlurCon, I was taken aback because I noticed how young the crowd was. And it was something, you know, and I felt like I was out of place. And that's how some people felt. I felt like that, you know, and it was like something dawned on me. Something dawned on me as I was walking. Somebody asked me, why did I come as Boba Fett? What was your inspiration of Boba Fett? And I told the person that he was not only a great bounty hunter, but he was a loner. He felt like he was he didn't have nobody to to love, to cherish. He only had to think about himself. And that's how it is with dating. Um, with dating, especially being a nerd in this day and age. We lost the art of communication. Some of us have gone over to the other side, as they say, like in Star Wars. You have gone to the dark side, which is texting. Texting is a good format, but it's not your only means. Unfortunately, and I can tell this from my experience, unfortunately, I'm not a texter. I'm more of a talk to the person on the phone. Because when you talk to them, you can hear in their voice, you can tell if they are interested or if they're not interested. And the thing about it is, you have so many options and so many things to hear and talk about. Texting is a coward way of communicating, of discussing your real feelings. And like I said before, dating in today's world is totally different. Like back in the days when I remember when I used to work with the kids, they was asking me, how did you guys, how was instant messenger? Like they do instant messenger now, like Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, all these type of messenger services they got. Our instant messaging, we used to write a note and pass the note in class. That was our instant messaging. And to see how the person like you. If that person like you, you ask that question. I really like you. Do you like me? Yes or no? And you have that little check box. And they will check it and they will write something back and they will fold it and they have their friends pass it around in the note in class. That's where a lot of teachers kept saying, stop passing notes in class. And if the teacher caught on to it, that teacher she will read it. And in some cases, kids got embarrassed. They said, oh my God, and they said, ooh. But I was one of those kids that was a nerd, and still am a nerd. And even sometimes I still get a little apprehensive about talking to a woman. To this day I still do that because I still fumble when it comes to talking to women. But the main thing I always go back to my thing which is movies, and that's my comfort zone. When I talk to them about movies, they say, hey, what was the last movie you seen or you saw, or did you hear about this movie? And it gets the conversation rolling. It starts the conversation up. Now, if you got one of those type of people that not into movies or TV shows or something like that, you try to find yourself. That's where the art of communication comes in. That's when you try to come up with something like a little small talk or whatever. So, and it's hard. For some people, it's hard. For me, it took me a lifetime to get my art of communication up. And I'm still growing and it's still learning. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's an ongoing process. So dating, getting back to dating is a lot, like I said before, a lot different now than ever. Today's dating is more geared to the younger generation. For us old heads, it's not us. You know, I for me, it's not me no more. I don't believe in dating no more. Let me give you a little brief. I already gave you a brief synopsis about me, but a little bit more is that yes, I was married 3 times. I am divorced twice, and my last wife passed away in 2015. So I'm considered a widower, but I also have a 21-year-old son. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you've seen pictures of my son is a handsome young man, and he has no problem to get a woman that he likes. He has no problem with it. He has that magnet. He has that that magnetism about himself. He's not afraid. He's the better looking one than me. You know, you put us together, even though we look alike, but he got the looks. You know, and that's where it was. Um, I'm not bad looking myself, but I am who I am. I am an old man. I'm 53 years old, and I can say that with pride. I'm an old man. I'm not an older man, but I'm an old man. I'm an active senior. Okay, and like I said, dating now is a lot different. You got to ask yourself, what do you want in a relationship? What kind of person do you want to share your life with? You have to ask yourself those questions. Um, for me, I want a woman that's into gaming. I want a woman that's into anime. A woman that's into cosplay. A woman that's into um, gaming, cosplay, anime, cartoons. You know, and not only that, but not afraid to express her love with her man. Because there's a lot of women out here that are too ashamed to even hold that man's hand. Now, also that goes vice versa. There's too many men out here that want to hold that girl's hand, that hold that woman's hand, or open the door for a woman, for that lady, or have the lady walk on your right side, away from the street. You know, there's too many guys like that. And the other thing that a lot of with dating is totally different now is that they judge you for the possessions that you have. Um, from what since I've been living here in Maryland, I've noticed how women look at a person for what he has. If a person doesn't have a car or their own house, they figure that person's no good. You know, um, my thing is, if you judge a person for what he's got for his materialistic things, then that's not really a date. That's more of a business arrangement. You know, and I'm gonna tell you straight up, I'm not the one. You know, I had several discussions with past you know, friends of mine and stuff like that, and they always tell me, oh, but you gotta have this and this and this, and then the woman wants to feel secure. Well, a woman wants to feel secure. People want to feel secure all the time. But if you do things on your own, what can the person bring to the table? It's just like with me, and I told this to several of my friends. I said, if I got a house and I did everything by myself, what do you think that woman's going to do when she sees that you have your own house? Her mind's already thinking that that person's already thinking that, oh, how can I move in here? How can I get a hold of that? You know, that's the type of thinking I have, and that's how dating has gotten. Dating has gotten to be a point where it's mostly materialistic things that they look at. They don't look at the person's heart. They don't look at what struggles that that person went through. Um, for some people, like myself, I went through a lot. After my, wife passed, you know, I had a bout of depression, and to this day, I still battle it off and on. I have depression. At times, I have depression, because I wish I had somebody, but I don't. And to be honest with you, am I in the point in my life where I really want somebody, or do I really need somebody? I'm at the point in my life right now that if somebody comes along, I'm not going to beg them. I'm not going to force them. Never force them, or never beg for them. I'm gonna let them choose their own path. And if they turn around and walk away, hey, that's on them. There's no there's no sweat off of me. It's like when I was told to give a scenario. And the scenario, I'm gonna say this. I look back at, I think back about a book I used to read when I was younger called Bad as I Want to Be, by the story about Dennis Rodman. And a lot of black women did not like that book at all. A lot of them didn't. Because Dennis Rodman talked about how, because everybody knows Dennis Rodman was dating white women. And there was a segment in the book, and I remember I highlighted that because it was so true for what he said. He wasn't the best looking guy. He was the ugly duckling, funny looking, kind of like a nerd, kind of like a geek, you know. But soon as he started making money and get a little fame, that's when everybody wanted to talk to him. Every woman wanted to talk to him. Black women, white women, that's when they wanted to talk to him, especially black women. And I recognize that segment because that's how I felt. Even though I didn't have no money, black women to me did not want to talk to me. Did not want to talk to me because I didn't have what they wanted. Right now I don't have a car, so be it. Um, in a way, I'm kind of glad I don't have a car now with the gas prices. But here's the thing: you don't know what a person has went through. Okay. And a lot of women I've come across have look at me, they look at my age and they say, "You don't have a car, you don't have a house." And they just look and they just turn their backs and they toss me aside. But yet and still, they go out with these young hoodlums who have no future and treat them bad. One thing I can always say I don't do, I don't ask nothing from a woman. I do my own. I get on my own. I do for myself. And if I don't have the means to do it, then so be it. That means I wasn't meant to have it. And I'll work for it. Um, right now, I'm working on getting a house. And I'm doing that on my own. And once I get my own house, so be it. It's going to be a feeling that I have accomplished something. And it brings me to a segment that my son asked me, a question that my son asked me. He said, "Dad, when you get your own house, are you still going to be dating?" And I told him, "No, I'm not." And I told him, the reason why I wouldn't be dating is because I don't know if the woman is going to love me for who I am or for what I got. And I told my son this. I said, and there are women out there who are that trifling. They will lie, manipulate just to get in your pants. They get what you have in your wallet. They don't care about the heart. And that's why you gotta always be on guard, because you never know what that person is gonna what their intentions are. So is dating, getting back to what I'm saying, is dating confusing, difficult? Yeah, dating is difficult in this day and age. Anybody can sit behind a computer and come up with a whole lot of wonderful memes and wonderful things and wonderful phrases. But talking to that person. Now, here's the other thing about dating that is so trifling. Now, there's a show that I love to watch called Catfish. And I want to say to Neve, and I forgot the other co-host's name, and the female one. I forgot her name. I'm sorry. Forgive me for forgetting your names. But Catfish is one of my favorite shows. But I often ask myself, if I ever was a co-host on that show, would I last that long? And I'm gonna tell you, my answer would be a emphatically no. I wouldn't last that long because I'm too blunt and too direct. When people say I was in this relationship for 5 years, here's the thing. How can you be in a relationship with somebody that you had never seen, that you had never talked to? You haven't even FaceTimed that person, but you're sending text messages. This is the problem with dating. People confuse saying they're in a relationship, but they had never seen the person. That is the most dumbest thing I had ever seen. And I'm gonna say it. If you believe that you are in a relationship because that person texts you and you've been texting each other for so long without no phone call for number one, without no FaceTime. No, correction. Let me just rephrase that. For not seeing that person, number one, in person, face to face. Number two, not talking to them. Oh, looks like I have nail polish, doesn't it? It's not. Not talking to them. And number three, not doing no FaceTime. Those three things. Those three. Not meeting them face to face, not talking to them on the phone, or not even doing FaceTime. You are a asshole. You are setting yourself up for a heartbreak. You're heartbroken. Your heartbreak, really. Heartbreak. And I'm going to tell you right now, for those that say, oh, I've been in a relationship with this person, and seeing that show, it is so funny. And then again, with the online dating, you can be anybody that you want, and you can pull pictures from anywhere else. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the funniest thing that happened to me is when people pretend to be a celebrity. Now, call me old school, call me old fashioned, but there is no damn way that a celebrity is going to reach out and talk to you. There is no freaking way it's going to reach out and talk to you. I had people claiming to be, and get this, Tessa Thompson, the young lady that played in Creed. I had Venus Williams. We all know who Venus Williams is. I had people like Jill Marie Jones, the one that played in Girlfriends. It is funny. I even had people saying that they were, claiming to be Janet Jackson. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a Janet fan, but I know Janet Jackson will never reach out. Never. Because these people who are scam artists, they're scammers. Oh, and another one. Here's a good one. Maya. And anybody in their right mind keeps thinking that, oh, this person's, I'm in a relationship with this person or that person. We've been talking for so many years. And here's the thing. And the one thing you got to learn about online dating, watch on watch for the key words. When they start being really affectionate, very soon with you. If they say hello dear or hi love, watch it. Watch that. Because chances are they are scammers and they are looking for you to be a sucker to give them money. And I'm going to tell you, this is another thing about online dating that has really changed. It's not open and honest no more. It's mostly scam artists. And it's a lot tougher. A lot tougher. They prey on unsuspecting people, think they can get something out of it. I mean, there are people out here now, even online, on the dating sites, are living off a scam, being a scam artist. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. Watch these people on the dating websites that claim to be from your neck of the woods. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why, because chances are they're not from your neck of the woods. They are from far out country, like in Asia or Nigeria or Congo or the Middle East or South America. You got to watch yourself, because this online dating is a trip. And with all these dating sites coming out, is there a good one? You ask, is there a good a reputable dating site? It's hard to say, because not all of them are good. Not all of them are bad. eHarmony, Match are the ones that you have to pay. Everything you have to pay, but you got to remember, even that too is a trip, because you pay for that. In some cases, it is a pain in the ass to get to cancel. So you got to watch yourself on dating sites. The most reputable ones, eHarmony and Match, they're good, but they don't cater to the certain individuals. They don't cater to the nerds or the geeks. And then you got to watch out for these websites, these dating apps that are geared towards geeks and gamers. Because I'm gonna tell you, those apps are not they're not well they're not well they're not really that good. This past, like I said, I went to a convention in Arlington, BlurCon, and there was this one called Geeky Love, and it was a small app. It was a small company that was starting the app, and it was at BlurCon. And I tried to support it. I tried to support it and everything else, but they had a lot of glitches, and they had a lot of problems. And mostly everybody on that was apps. And I'm gonna say this again, once again, mostly everybody on those dating apps are young. If you want to be a cougar or a panther, that's on you. But for people like myself, I wouldn't talk to nobody that young. I'm sorry. You know, I remember my son asked me, he said, "Dad, would you ever date somebody younger than you?" I said, "The most I would date is maybe in their 40s. Anything younger than that, I would not try to date, unless if that woman was interested in me, genuinely interested in me, and she had to be in the late 30s. She would have to be in the late 30s. But I'm gonna tell you right now, hold on for a minute. Like I told my son, um, I would date any. I would date a woman that's in their late 30s, and she has to be genuinely interested in me. In the 40s, I definitely will. 50s, I definitely will. And I even asked my son. I said, "Son, how would you feel if you saw me dating somebody 22, 23 years old?" You know what my son told me? He said he will hate me. He said he wouldn't like that. And I said, yes, that's how I feel. And it's the same thing he said, he said he would never date somebody that older than him. And I always told him, I said, look, you got to watch yourself because you're going to have women from all ages. You're going to have cougars. You're going to have panthers. You're going to have silver foxes. And he was asking me, what is a cougar? What is a panther? I said, a panther is somebody that's in their 40s chasing after a young guy who's happening to be in their late teens, early 20s. No, wait a minute. No. A cougar is somebody who's chasing after young guys who's in their late teens, early 20s. That's a cougar. That happens to be in their 30s and 40s. That's a cougar. A panther is someone chasing after young guys that happens to be in their 40s and 50s. Chasing after somebody that's from ages late teens to their early 30s, late teens to their late 20s to early 30s. A silver fox is someone that's in their 60s and 70s going after somebody that's in their early to late 20s up until 30, in their 30s. And that's somebody that's in their 60s and 70s and above. That's what you call a silver fox. And I could be wrong, but that's how I break it down. So, is dating really worth it in this day and age for somebody in their 50s? Nah, it's not. It is not. If you're in your 50s and you haven't been married yet, don't get married. Just enjoy your life and concentrate on you and do you. For people like myself who's been through life, who's been married, divorced, been a widower, as a single parent, you done it all. Your time has come. Your dating game is over for you. It's over for me. It's over for me. I'm going to enjoy. Well, I know some people are negative. I'm talking negative about dating, and I told them, I said, yeah, it's a lot tougher now. It is a lot tougher, especially for people over a certain age. Well, that's all I have to say. You know, for everyone else, I mean, enjoy your life to your best of your ability. Enjoy yourself. Have a good day. have fun, and never settle for less, because you know you're worth it. If somebody else is not there, don't see it, then they're not for you. They are not for you. And if they can't accept you for who you are, if you're a person that likes to play video games, that likes to go to conventions, that likes to do cosplay and watch anime and watch cartoons, be that person. Play video games, be that person. But if the person cannot accept you for that, or if that person's not into those things, don't limit yourself. Don't make yourself unhappy. It's best to be by yourself. And that's how I am. And that's how it's going to be. As always, you have a blessed day. Take care. And always remember, be yourself. Because you only have, there's only one you. And if you don't love your own self, what makes you think someone else is going to love you? All right? Just be yourself and be proud of who you are. And that's all I have to say. Peace.